Hey folks, it's Ridgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Farming Simulator 19 here in Boulder Canyon. Just going to be continuing on today, driving around looking for tree stumps. And then we've got a few things that we need to do. One is we need to clear some trees over there. I'm going to run over there a minute and we're just going to have a quick look. We want to clear a few trees over this way so that we can put in the universal sell point. That's going to go sort of across here, I think. I think this would be the best place to put it, so we can try and line it up reasonably straight, give ourselves decent access for it, and I mean, we could even do it so that we're clearing some of this out of the way, but that tree there is going to cause us trouble if we try and do that too much. So probably not. We'll probably put it down over here on the side, and we'll leave one or two of these trees here right in the way. Not in a way, so just sort of leave them there. We can go round them. But, yeah, we're going to want to clear the trees out of the way. But the other thing that I was thinking of doing, we'll go in here a second, and I'm just going to go to the actual universal sell point. Right there. So it's that one there, the 15,000 one that we're going to want. And you'll notice already that it doesn't have a wide area on it, and we can put it down with trees overlapping and stuff. Not quite sure why it's allowing us to do that, but it does. That doesn't mean that I want to do that, though. What I'd like to do is I kind of want to put it like this. When we install this one, I am going to also build a track around it as well. So I'm thinking about there. And we will also have a track that goes from our main machinery area up there, and that track will come out down this way. Actually, we'll move it around and sort of put it a bit more square on, and then we'll have it so the track will come out both ways down here. So we're going to want to clear these trees around this area. Possibly that one tree there as well. That would be the general idea. Those are the ones that we want to move out of the way in order to do this, and then we clear the stumps out. The rest of it we're not too concerned about, but we do want to clear the trees and the stumps before we put this in, and we're going to want to actually spend the full 100,000 when we install it. But the other thing that I was thinking of doing is we're going around at the moment and clearing stumps. We've done loads and loads and loads of cutting trees, so I was going to do a load of clearing stumps to start things off today. Tractor stopped. And then once I've done that, once I've gotten rid of several of these tree stumps here, the next thing that I was planning to do was to go and actually buy the mower and the rake and stuff like that and get them back here, so that we can start using them. Now, obviously, the one downside to this is our... the place is a little bit far away from where we are. We do have a fair distance to go, so it's a long drive for each piece of machinery. And the whole idea with the hardcore series is that you're supposed to see absolutely everything. So the only downside to having the machinery place so far away is that going and getting anything is taking us a significant amount of time. Hardcore series, so I'm not going to be like going off and getting them and cutting that bit out, and then like cheating and teleporting them over here. I'm not doing that, not for the hardcore series. But what I was thinking was that maybe it would be a good idea if we invested in something like a low loader. We'd be able to put several bits of machinery onto this, but then I thought, well, no, actually, this trailer here. Right, it's absolutely wonderful and everything, and you can stretch it out, but it needs a dolly to go with it. That's you're looking at nearly $30,000 to be able to buy the thing, and pull it with our tractor. It's a job to load it anyway, and it just doesn't have very much space on it. So I'm thinking of keeping an eye out for another trailer that we can use, or we have another option. Now, not that one. No, sorry, that's the wrong one. Is it under trailers under here? I've got this new one here, which actually looks quite cool. This is a recent addition to the mods collection here, and I quite like this one. It does look very good. So we'll possibly have a look at that one later in this series. But no, it's not that one at the moment. We've got... It's not those. It's not those there. So where is... Maybe it's under baling technology. Right. We've got these bale trailers here at 10 grand a pop. We've got those there. They've got the extensions on. But if you don't have the extensions on, you've got this one. Looks like this. Right? Now, that's great and all, but you still got to get the machinery up onto the trailer. It doesn't have self-loading. The same with these. With this right here, it's a great looking trailer, but you've got to be able to get the machinery up onto it if you want to use it. Now, we do have a placeable ramp that we could use, which I thought might be, we might be able to do something with. And it's the same with that one, but maybe, just maybe, we could have that, and then we could go here under placeables. Is it under here? We've got this ramp right here. Now, I thought this would be really cool, right? You know, you have this ramp right here, and we ought to be able to... Can't be placed here. Deformation of terrain failed. How much terrain do you need to deform in order to get this thing to fit? Collides with an object? What object are you colliding with? Right, well, I thought that this one would be really awesome. Oh, there we go, look. But it doesn't adjust. The height of it doesn't adjust. It's like set in stone. So, again, it's not really something that we can go with. So I'm going to be on the lookout for another machine, another trailer that we can use for a low loader that's not one of those that we could just put onto the back of the tractor. Because then what we could do is we could go and get the mower and the baler, and we could sort of carry a few of these things in one go. You could put the mower and the baler onto a trailer on the back, and you could, or the mower and a rake on the back, and you could put another mounted item on the front, on here, and it'd be absolutely great. It would work really well, and we'd be able to take a whole load of stuff all at once. I thought that would save us a bit of time, and we'd be able to carry multiple machines in one trip, which would certainly, it's certainly something that we want to be looking at doing. Even if we don't do it just yet. We are definitely going to want to be doing stuff like that in the future. Anyway, my weekly question, let's not forget that one. The final conditions for completing this series are going to be me obtaining a set number of animals. Now, you all said previously that you didn't want me to just do one animal, you wanted me to have some of all animals. And I'm talking about chickens, sheep, pigs and cows. We excluded horses from this one, so we're not getting horses on this map. And you all said, you all sort of gang together, and you all said quite overwhelmingly that you want me to get some of every animal that's available. So the question is, how many do I get? Do I get one small penful of each? Do I get one large penful of each, or do I get two large penfuls of each? Now, one small pen, you know, that's still a reasonable challenge. One large pen, there's a lot of stuff in a large pen, a lot of animals in a large pen. I'm including two large pens because some people have been saying that, quite frankly, some of the options that we've been adding in are meaning that this series is not quite hardcore enough. And I figured, well, two large pens of each type of animal in order to be able to finish, that's pretty hardcore. Right, that is a lot of animals that we will have to work towards. Some of them will be easier to get than others, but like two large pens of cows, that is a significant challenge, especially when we've got to grow and produce all the food and bedding and absolutely everything that they would use. So that is a significant challenge. So yeah, a small pen of each, a large pen of each, or two large pens of each type of animal before we can leave this map. Is your vote, it's your game. Head into the comment section down below, let us know which one you want and why, and of course don't forget to actually cast your vote in the top right hand corner. We'll continue on with this, and I think I'm still thinking that I'll go and get the mowers at least, or a mower. Because I was what I was kind of wanting to do was get the mower and just mow this anyway. I know that it's going to be a bit patchy because we've got all of the stumps that I've now removed, or I'm removing at the moment. And so it's sort of leaving these little patches where the stump grinder has been hard at work, but it's also going to be a significant change of pace. You know, doing a bit of mowing instead of constantly cutting trees down, it'll give you something else to look at. And we got to do the mowing anyway, so whether we do it now or we do it after we buy the universal sell point doesn't really make any difference. Mowing is the first big job that we're going to do, and it's got to be done in order for us to make money. One thing that somebody did suggest, actually I've had a few people suggest this now, not just one person, and that was with silage bales, once we've made them, we ought to leave them a set amount of time, say a minimum of 2 nights before we're allowed to sell them, to simulate the time, roughly, that it takes for the bales to actually ferment and properly turn into silage. I think this might be a good idea. I don't know. So I'd like you to get into the comments section today and talk about whether or not you think we should be doing that. Should we do anything with holding the bales for a little while in order for them to turn into silage? Or is that something that nobody's particularly bothered about? No, we sell them when we sell them. Rather than like double handling them or leaving them in the field, we're just, if we're going to sell bales, then just get on and sell them. I know plenty of people that do make silage bales and they sell them directly off the field, and the person that buys them then stacks them up ready for the winter so that they ferment on the new owner's property rather than fermenting on the other person's property. So selling the silage bales before or after they've had time to ferment and properly turn into silage doesn't really make much difference, right? Both options are equally valid. I have personally done both options, so I'm on that one. I'm sort of fairly indifferent on it, to be honest. But I thought I would just mention it and throw the floor open for discussion on that one. I'm interested to hear people's views and opinions. Let's go over here. We've got 3 stumps here in this little cluster right there. One out there, there's 2 more back there, so back up and grab those. And once we have made our, we have got to cut down more trees in order to be able to get some more money. We need 100,000 for the universal sell point, and then the baler itself is 50 grand, the round baler. Of course, the round baler is our cheapest option. If we go for the square baler, it's 100,000 for the square baler alone. I would like the square baler, but yeah, it's a little pricey. The round baler is 50 grand, and the wrapper is about 8,000. I like having the wrapper at 8,000. It's only a small little wrapper. I think that was a good price for it. We're not going to be able to afford the bale collector, the Ursus bale collector to start with. That one's about 40 grand on its own. And I'm wondering whether or not we should buy that one anyway, because I would like to advance the square bales as rapidly as possible. I'm not a fan of doing round bales. I never have been. Never really liked round bales, and I would far rather do the square bales than the round bales, just because it's, I don't know, I prefer using the square baler for a start. The square baler, the pickup on it is considerably wider. Another thing that I am considering, I've seen somebody using on our Discord channel. If you haven't joined Discord, there's a link in the description down below. You can find out a bit more about it. Someone was talking, showed a mod on there, which was one of the a forage wagon with hay turner on each side, or rather it works as a rake. Rakes everything into the forage wagon. Now, admittedly, this particular forage wagon was the collection bit on it was obscenely wide, about 15 times wider than the forage wagon itself. Very, very unrealistic, so it wouldn't be particularly suitable for this. But, being said, I have seen both balers and forage wagons with something similar, with the wheel rakes out on each side. I've seen a baler with 2 wheel rakes, with 2 wheels on each side of the baler, reasonable sized ones as well, and going in a field of hay. It's just the baler is just driving up and down the field. No need for anybody to go along and break it up beforehand, because the baler is raking it up itself. And I thought that was actually a really cool idea. Now, I don't know if this is a mass-produced item or if it was something the farmer had made himself. However, I have seen a video of it being used. It was definitely a real thing. And as far as I'm concerned, if I've seen a video of it being used in real life, then it is quite acceptable and something that I'm happy to go and start using. If I got a tree stump that I'm trying to get over, or am I just... Oh, it's because I'm trying to go uphill slightly. I'm looking around, I'm seeing all these tree stumps. Just need to keep going. Every time we find a tree stump, just lower it down. See, there's another one over there I want to grab. So yeah, I like the idea of trying to get a mod that will do that. If we could get a baler and rake sort of combined into one machine, as long as it's not like ridiculously and unrealistically wide one. I thought that would be quite a cool little mod to have. Or a one that's done on a forage wagon as well. So similar to the one that I seen the picture of, the screenshot of in our Discord channel, which, you know, it did look really cool, and it's definitely something I'd consider for the Ravenport series, which I play far less realistically than I do this one. Yeah, I would consider it for that, but I wouldn't consider it for this series. This series is... We are going for as close to real as we can get with this one. Within reason. I do say as close to real as we can get, but also it is still got to be within reason. You know, I'm not wanting to do everything like the mass fill type adjustments. I like the idea behind the mass fill type adjustments, but it's not something I feel that we need to add into the game in order to improve the quality of this series. And maybe I can consider it at some point in the future, but yeah, at the moment probably not. And I've been thinking about this. I've been thinking about this the last couple of days, because people have been saying, you know, what sort of realism are we going for with this, and what sort of realism am I going for with the Ravenport series and stuff like that. And honestly, I think that I'm sort of heading towards unrealistic gameplay with the Ravenport series and anything that comes along afterwards. Not ridiculously unrealistic, but certainly far more so than this one. This one, I'm going to go as close to real as possible. Within reason, so like we do still use autoloads, we do still use what I would consider to be acceptable shortcuts, but using things like Stevie's mods, where, you know, all the tractors and the implements and that are sped up, and the breakdown times are drastically increased. There's options for much larger capacities, that sort of thing. Those are definitely not being used on this series. Definitely not. If I decide to go for a 4x map or bigger in the Ravenport series, or, you know, once we've completed on there, then Stevie's mods may very well turn up and we can start using those, because trying to solo play a 4x map or something that's bigger is not something I want to do without at least a little bit of extra assistance. But that's not something that we need to worry about today. Going to take that one up. We got quite a collection of stumps up here, haven't we? There was a lot more timber in a smaller area right here than there was further down the hill. Lift that one up. It's interesting to note that even when you lift this thing up into the air, if it's running, the tractor is still going to run really, really slowly. That one there. There we go, and right. I'll bring that bit back there. I've got a couple more here. Thinking that we'll go and get the mower soon, because I actually quite like the idea of going to get the mower. I also do, I do want to cut down the trees ready for the universal sell point to go in, and I am going to start working on that pretty soon. But I'm actually thinking that for the rest of this week, I don't really want to cut down any more trees. And I particularly like the idea of getting the mower and at least doing a little bit of mowing. We could get that first thing in the morning, because it's, at the moment, it's 17:36. So time has ticked away from us a little bit. But if we were to go, like, keep doing the stumps until bedtime, and then, well, actually, it might, 5 times speed. I'm trying to figure out how much time will go by in that sort of little time frame. Maybe not until bedtime. Maybe we will go and get the mower in a minute, and we could start doing some mowing. And also, if we're doing a bit of mowing, it might help to show up where the tree stumps are. It's nothing like walloping into a tree stump with a mower to demonstrate to you where the thing is hiding. I mean, yes, admittedly, it may not do your mower a huge amount of good. And, you know, there are small issues with things like the mower teeth needing to be replaced, and the mower drum needing to be replaced, and the main frame of the mower needing to be replaced. All minor details. It's just paperwork, essentially, really. I'm sure the actual PTO shaft itself will be just fine. Well, apart from the fact that it may have splintered in half, or you'd kind of hope that it wouldn't do that much damage. Not, well, at least not to this PTO shaft. If you smash into a tree stump with your mower, you probably are going to dent up the frame and break the drum, and certainly going to break off the teeth. But the PTO, that ought to be saved by the shear pin breaking. So at least you wouldn't have to replace the PTO shaft. Just need to get a new mower to put it on. We'll be fine. We'll be absolutely fine. Stop worrying. It's going to be absolutely fine. Right, I'm starting to get a little bit bored with this. So if I'm starting to get a little bit bored with this, chances are some of you are starting to get a little bit bored with me doing this as well. Even though it's something different, we've not done it before, although we did do it a little bit in yesterday's episode. It's still a bit samey, isn't it? Although I'm still seeing lots of tree stumps, and I do need to remove them all. That's the thing is, I do actually have to remove all the tree stumps. It's a shame we can't find a cheap plough somewhere. Well, see, I'm saying that, a cheap plough. The problem is, a cheap plough is going to be really small. And I don't want too small a plough. I'd like a reasonable size plough. Whatever we do, we're going to be using the small plough anyway. We haven't got anything that we can't afford anything too grand. Back that one up round there like that. The cultivator, though. Cultivator, we can have a cheap thing. Right, you can have a homemade cultivator that's essentially just a meshwork of chains with some nails stuck through it. And yes, you may have to go over the field twice instead of once. It still works exceptionally well as a cultivator. So there's nothing wrong with using a cultivator that is completely homemade and ends up costing you in total about £150 worth, or, you know, dollars if you're living in the States or Australia or New Zealand or half the world, actually. So many of you use dollars as a currency. It might all be different values, but you still have the same name for it, which is pretty cool. So yeah, you may end up spending, you know, 150 quid on welding rods and, you know, some bits of old iron as a frame to go around the outside of your new cultivator. But really, you don't have to spend very much on a cultivator. It's possible to get away with something very cheap. The expensive part is the plough itself, because you've either got to have one that's really small and takes you about a year to plough anything more than an acre of land, or you've got to get a reasonable size plough, and yeah, then that ends up costing you a fair penny or two, because making your own plough, whilst it can still be done, you've got to have a level of competence significantly above that required to manufacture your own cultivator. I could make my own cultivator with some bits of string and barbed wire all tied together and some nails stuck in it. Right? And I can't weld. I haven't got a clue how to... I've never welded in my life. Ever. Okay? I don't know how to weld. I have no clue how to use a welder. I know the basic principle of it, I know the theory behind it, but I've never used one. So without some actual physical experience using a welder, yeah, I'm not a welder, right? I don't know how to do welding. And this is something, I said I was going to stop and go and do something else, but I've now gone round and there are very few tree stumps left. There's one over there I can see, there's two over here, over this way, 3, 4... Right, there appears to be a collection of tree stumps right here, so we'll work through this little collection here. I can see several now springing up. Take you out right there, and then I go over this way and down over there, like that. But yeah, you know, you could make your own plow, but like I said, it would require a skill set far above anything that I personally own, and I could competently make a cultivator that would work. It may be slow, you may have to go over the field a few times, and quite possibly the barbed wire would come apart a few times, but you could still cultivate a field using something that I could manufacture myself from some a roll of barbed wire and some old iron. Right? I could do that quite happily, quite competently, and it would suffice. A plow, that's, yeah, I wouldn't be able to make a plow. I'll tell you that for nothing right now. Unless I had some additional instruction on how to do things, I would not personally be able to manufacture a plow. I know that quite a few of you who watch this series would be able to make a plow. You'd be able to take a welder, take several bits of old iron, and it might not look exactly like a traditional moldboard plow that so many of us are used to, but it would still plow the field and it would do a good job of it. So I know that quite a lot of you are competent with these things. Just don't include me in your ranks. Well, actually, if you've watched any of my videos by now, you probably realise that I'm not to be included in the ranks of skilled tasks very much at all. That's not something you can include me in. Oh, no, I knew there was another one. I was looking around. I was driving right over the top of it. We'll take that one off there. I think we have actually got just about all of them now. I got one there. It's moving down into this corner. We'll probably find more, so I'm not going to move. I'm not going to leave this one too far away from here. I'm going to leave this one near this corner. And that way, we can go round the field a bit with... Now, let me look up like this. I'm sort of looking around here a bit. I've been driving around all over. Don't see any more for a minute. I've no doubt that we've missed dozens of tree stumps. There's one right there, right in front of me. And there's a couple more I can see in the bushes as well. I can see one there, there's one under the bush, and there's one in front of it. There, and there's a little one right there behind us. So I'll go back and I'll get that one first. Right there, it's 20 past 6. We've still got time to go and get our mower, and then we can start doing a bit of mowing first thing in the morning. That may have given this grass a little bit of time to grow back a bit. I don't know if there's one under here or not, but I'm going to lower that down. Pull it through that bush. Maybe not. I thought there was one in there. Apparently there is not one in there. We'll move on down this way, and... what do we got? What else? We got that one right there. Back up here. Oh. There, right, okay. We've got that one off there, I think. Oh, no, there's another one. This is what's going to happen, is we'll spend another hour just driving around. Oh, no, that's it. That's all of it. I've done it. Oh, no, there's another one. No, I've done it. I've done it. I've got every single tree stump. Oh, no, there's another one. That's what will happen, is we will just keep doing that. So I'm going to stop. I'm going to drive down here. I will take out any tree stumps I see on the way down through this way. You can probably see plenty that I'm missing right now. It's probably really frustrating you as you scream at the screen. Fritz, stop! Stop! Frith! No, Frith, there's one right there. Frith, seriously! You just went right past it! Dude! What, are you blind? Probably yes. Actually, well, there's no probably about it. If I take my glasses off, if I try to go without my... I know this is our neighbour's land, this is not our land. I'm going to leave it here anyway. Right, if I take my glasses off... Now, wait a minute. Wait just a minute. If I leave the front weight behind... Right, I could go for 2 mowers. This is what I'm seriously considering. So we go for that mower right there at 4.3 meters. Okay, that's 16,000. And then go for that one there. Oh no, that's a coon. I thought it was 2 Lely ones. That one's quite small, so I don't want to go with that one. That one at 3.2 meters there, that's 20,000. This one is 19 at 3.1. So it's not really a great deal of difference between the two. The coon one, I definitely want that. It's 4.3 meters wide, so we will buy that one. And I'm thinking that we should buy the Nova Cat as well. And we could buy the 2 of them together. I mean, if we don't do that, the other thing that we could do is we could just buy the mower. And then we could go into here. Go to baling technology. That one's 50,000. That one... Yeah, that's 50 grand, and then you've got the wrapper over here that takes up to 58,000. It's actually 57,000, but still. 57,000, or we have the all-in-one right there, which is 76. I don't really want to do the all-in-one, but I mean, we could just have the mower and that roll belt there, right? I could bring both of those back, because I could put the mower on the front of the tractor, the roll belt on the back of the tractor, and bring it back, you know, just not driving too fast. And then take it off again once we're back here, and then I can do the baling. And then later on, we go back again, we have our front loader on, and we can go and pick that one up, and we can also bring a bale spike, or bale, actually no, we'd want a bale squeeze, wouldn't we? If we're going to be doing this properly, we've got... I mean, you can do it with a bale spike, okay? I know you can do it with a bale spike because I've done it myself. I've picked up hundreds and hundreds of silage bales with a bale spike, and then you put tape over the silage once it's done. You have thick black tape, and you put that over the hole that you make with the spike. So one spike in the middle, you pick it up, and then you put tape over it, and it's fine. Probably not the best way to go about doing it, because you're puncturing several layers, but I mean the tape seems to work. Or we go for, we've got that one there, or we go for the bale handler there. The thing with the bale spike is that we can take 2 of them and it's a lot cheaper. So we'll think about that. We can go and get those another time, but I could actually go and get the mower and the baler right now. I could go and collect both of those. Right now, I get a mower and a baler back here. It will mean not using a rake, and using a rake is preferable, because obviously it does sort of rake everything in together, but we don't have to have a rake, right? And when you've got something like a 4-meter mower, using a... go like that. Using a rake is... not something a lot of farmers would do, actually. A lot of farmers wouldn't use a rake for something like that. A lot of farmers instead would just have the mower leave the grass in a swath from the mower and then go and bale it up directly behind. Or use a forage wagon and go directly behind on it like that. So we're not actually breaking realism at all by not using a rake. There's actually something... I mean, I've done it myself. I've gone along and I've mowed field after field after field with a side-mounted mower very similar to the one that we're about to go and collect. And then my boss has come along with the forage harvester, the tractor-mounted forage harvester with silage trailers on the back and just following the lines up and down. There's no rakes or tedders or anything like that in sight. It's just the mower followed immediately by the forager. We've done the same with the balers. Go straight on with the mower. Don't bother doing much. Leave it in the field for 24 hours to wilt, and then go along with the baler shortly afterwards. Bale it all up, and then wrap it up the silage. done that a bit less, it's got to be said. Normally, the procedure with doing it with, well, the procedure that the people that I used to work for was to mow it all down, and then once it's on the deck, go and turn it once and half dry it out, then row it up and bale it. So when you're making silage bales, you do tend to get a slightly better quality silage if you partially dry it out first, because you get less effluent coming out of it, and so the bale loses less moisture. It's got less moisture to lose once it's undergoing the fermentation process, and the bale stays firmer, and that creates a better quality silage. If you bale it up fresh and green, there's a lot more water comes out of those bales, so the bale, the actual volume of it decreases, and so it's not quite as tightly packed, which then gives you a poorer quality silage overall. That's one of the reasons. It's not the only reason, and there are ways to get around that, especially if you stack your bales up into a great big stack. The weight of all the other bales around sort of compensates for that. It makes, sorts that issue out pretty much. But it's one of the reasons for doing it, and it does make a difference. So it's not something you do every time, but it's definitely something that you seriously consider when you're making hay. Making silage, sorry, not hay. Right, we are very nearly almost there. We have not even used a quarter of a tank of fuel, so we're not going to worry about using any more fuel today, getting any more fuel. We don't need to worry about running a repair on it either. We're $82,000. It's going to cost us nearly 50 grand for this baler, which is a little bit pricey, admittedly. Might be better if we could go for a cheaper baler somewhere else. And then we also want the mower, and we need to bring the mower back. So, I mean, I'm of two minds as to whether I should do this, or whether I should bring the mower back and buy the wrapper at the moment and bring that back, and then look for a mod for a slightly cheaper baler, because you wouldn't necessarily be buying brand new stuff. And this is one thing that we're a bit behind on here compared to the Pacific logging map that we did in FS19, was we had access to a lot more second-hand machinery. $50,000 for a new round baler seems about right. That's, you're looking at 35 to 40,000 pounds, and that does seem about right. But you can pick up a second-hand round baler that does nearly as good a job as a brand new one. A brand new one is just faster, essentially. It does pack the bales a bit tighter. If you want to get an older one, an older baler, you can pick up an old second-hand round baler for £5,000. It's about $7,000-ish, maybe a bit less, $6,500, something like that. That's the kind of exchange rate you're looking at. We definitely want the mower. We're definitely going to buy that mower right there. It's the biggest, widest mower that we can get. We'll leave an additional front-mounted mower for now. So we go with that one, and we will buy that one there, so we can mow the grass and we can make some bales. And back again, and I definitely need to get, right, it doesn't matter what we do, I do need to get the bale wrapper, so I may as well get the bale wrapper now, and we can come back later for something different. Now, I've always, where I live, it's always been black bales that I've always personally dealt with. Or I've seen green ones being used, but I've never actually done them myself. The pink ones, percentage of sale from all pink wrap, certainly in the UK, I believe in a lot of other places in the world as well, that is donated to breast cancer research. So that's why you'll often see the pink ones around, but it's the black one that's often used in the UK, and one of the reasons for that is that it makes it warmer. So I'm going to go with that one because that's the familiar one. If it's in too hot a place, the black wrap is actually detrimental to the quality of the silage because it overheats it, cooks it, and then your silage comes out rather poor. And so you'll often find that the hotter the country, the more likely you are to see someone using a lighter coloured wrap. And we are seeing it more and more now in the UK as well. Lighter coloured wraps, as the average temperatures are starting to heat up more and more in the UK. So it's a thing that's happening here in the UK as well. Right, so we've got that one on there. Yes, this is not something you'd want to do very much if you could help it. Typically, front links on any tractor are weaker than what you get on the back. So it's going to be putting more strain on the vehicle by doing it this way round. But for a one-off transport that we're not actually using the machine in the field, we could still do this. This is absolutely fine. We know it's quite a long way round, but there's a steep hill going up here. I'm going to go that way anyway, because I haven't been that way for ages. Looking at the time, we're probably not going to... I mean, yeah, I don't think we're going to have time to actually use our mower. But we've got our mower and we've got our wrapper. The next thing that we're going to want is a baler. And we're also going to want We're going to want an implement of some kind to be able to pick up and handle the bales. Whether we use a bale spike and then we say that we're putting tape on them afterwards, or we use a... Oh, wait a minute. No, I need to go that way, don't I? Let's not get lost. Oop. Don't turn too sharp with the thingy on either, with the wrapper on, because you jackknife your tractor. Whoa, steady. Going too fast around corners with this thing stuck out the front like this is probably not a good idea either. We're going to end up having a serious accident in a minute. Let's turn some lights on, so people may need warning that I'm coming along. So yeah, we've got what was I saying? I've completely forgotten now. Yeah, the picking up the bales. I would like you to talk about in the comments section today how you think I should be picking up the bales, whether you think I should do it with the bale squeeze, or if we should just go with the bale spike. I can pick up 2 bales at a time with the bale spike, and you can patch the plastic with a bit of black tape. So yeah, I know that you can pick them up. Sometimes, you know, you don't want to do that too often. If you've only just wrapped the bale, it's fine, because you patch it up and then you leave it. You don't torment the bale. If you do that sort of after 4 weeks, that becomes a bit more detrimental to the quality of the bale, because by that time the fermentation process has kicked in and it's gone into the anaerobic digestion, the anaerobic fermentation sort of process that is taking place. And by puncturing it after 4 weeks, you're introducing oxygen into an environment that you really don't want oxygen to be introduced into. And that ends up making some very poor quality silage. So puncturing a bale after a month is far worse than puncturing it right at the start and then patching it over again. So I would say that it would be alright for us to do that. But I want your views and opinions in the comment section down below, as always, and then I can talk about that next week. And I will also, between now and then, have a look for a cheaper baler. I'll see if I can find a mod for a second-hand baler, because I don't like the idea too much of having to spend 50 grand on a baler when I know full well that a second-hand baler would be a tiny, tiny fraction of that price. I am much more comfortable with buying a new mower, because a second-hand mower can very often be a cause of severe headaches, right? You get second-hand mower, you can have all kinds of trouble with them not working very well. They vibrate a lot, which causes the machine to self-destruct quite a lot and damage itself. A new mower is a much better investment than a new baler if you're doing small to medium amounts of work on your field. We're doing at the moment small to medium amounts of work, so a new baler is much less of a decent investment. A new mower, medium amount of mowing, it's something that we're going to be using. It's something that we'll be glad of. Whereas a new baler, that's a lot of money. That's at least $30,000 that we don't really need to spend, and we're we're not going to be saving ourselves very much by spending that additional $30,000. So we'll have a look at that. That's something that we'll sort of investigate in the future. But anyway, we have run out of time for today's episode. So I'm going to park this stuff up over here. We'll seriously consider using the mower at the beginning of our next episode and doing a little bit of mowing and doing some baling as well. I need to swap that one over. Oops. No. Press X there. Doesn't allow you to lower it down without unfolding it, unfortunately, which is a little bugbear of mine. I don't like that it doesn't allow you to do that. I think it should allow you to do that, and I can see no logical reason as to why it won't, other than it being a bug, which I'm really hoping it is just a bug and is not intended. So yeah, my weekly question is, how many of each type of animal do you want me to get on this map? Do you want me to get one small pen of each type of animal? Do you want me to go for one large pen of each type of animal? Or would you rather I went for 2 large pens of each type of animal before I'm allowed to leave this map? It's your vote, it's your game. Head into the comment section down below, let us know which one you want and why, and of course don't forget to actually cast your vote in the top right hand corner. If you've enjoyed the episode, then please hit down below and give us a like, and if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me, get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. I'm going to go and get the front weight over here. We'll leave the biobeltz right where it is, and then we'll drive back over to our tent. And that is us done for the day. 7:45. I don't think we need to work any later tonight. We can knock off a little bit early, just once. It'll be fine. Let's go across our field here. The one that we're about to mow. There's a tree stump right there. I've just seen a tree stump. Caught it in the light. And there's another one over there. There's 2 tree stumps that I've seen. And another one right there. There's 3 tree stumps that I've seen that we've missed. We'll worry about them later. So until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.